Vermont Credit Union. Yours.
You just missed that great freaking entry that I did. I said the BlueNote Fan Report. Aloha and mahalo. And then I realized that I wasn't in the screen. Oh, guy can screw up anything. How are you today, my friends? Is anybody watching who's out there? Brian Green is the most hated member of a hockey meme group on Facebook because I am bashing Colorado. I've never felt like a genuine celebrity. I know what you're talking about. Yes, I know. There are a couple Colorado people out there who think that Colorado is the greatest team and that all their players are so much better than every other player. Every other player in the league, right? Kemper's the best goalie ever, the greatest goalie in the league. Kemper's the second worst goalie to ever win a cup. Second worst, plain and simple, right? The injury, you look at that injury list that Tampa Bay had and how many of them were for Colorado. Colorado probably hurt more people than anybody else ever in the history of the league. Colin asked, who's the worst? Well, according to our buddy Windy City, it is Antinemi, right? He basically, and he calls it out. He says, I'm a Chicago fan, and I still call that he was the worst goalie to ever win a cup. All we needed was somebody that was serviceable back there with the guys we had. And you know what? Sometimes that's all you need. And that's what Kemper was. Kemper was serviceable. But now the offseason starts, and it started today. Today it started. I tried to get Ian. I sent him something. I really wanted to get him on and talk to him about this. Minnesota traded the rights to Kevin Fiala, who was I want to say he was an unrestricted free agent. He might have been restricted, but I think he was an unrestricted free agent, to the Los Angeles Kings. And the Los Angeles Kings went and signed him to a long-term deal. I'm trying to read this a little bit to get an understanding of it. So he was a restricted free agent, right? So he was a restricted free agent. They traded the rights to him to Los Angeles, who then turned around and signed him to a deal. Now, this one, when this happens, a lot of people shake their head. They don't get why they happen it. No, Windy does not think that Bennington's the worst. In fact, not even close. He thinks I think and with enough of the shows that I've had him on here, I think he thinks that Bennington's one of the better goalies out there. I really do. Right? A really good move for the Kings. They traded their number one draft pick from 2022, a guy that's a college kid, to Minnesota. And then they turn around and sign Fiala to a long-term deal. I've heard some people ask, well, now what are we going to do about could we do that with Husso or some of ours? Well, first of all, we only have two restricted free agents. And of those two restricted free agents, I don't see us wanting to trade either one of them, right? Now, I've talked about this before, how I'm a chess player, and one of the things that I struggle with the most is the sacrifice. Well, I don't just struggle with it there. I struggle with it in my in how I see things. I don't want to get rid of what we have. Well, we have two restricted free agents right now, right? Niko Mikkola and Scott Prunovich. And to be honest, I wouldn't trade either one of them, right? I really wouldn't. Maybe we'll get some viewers. It'd be nice. No, I think that this trade, Fiala trade was very smart on both ends. I think both ends win this trade, right? They were not going to sign Kevin Fiala. They weren't. They couldn't afford him. He's a restricted free agent, and more than likely, because everybody knew that they weren't going to trade him, they weren't going to he wasn't going to get an offer sheet, right? He wasn't going to get a qualifying offer, and because he doesn't get a qualifying offer, there's nothing. He would have just sat there at the beginning of the year, right? He would have just sat there. There was nothing that was going to happen. This is smart for Minnesota. They move Fiala. They move him to I think Fiala. Now Fiala's, and here's the thing. When I think of Fiala, I don't think of a kid that's only 25 years old. He's been in the league a while. He's been in the league since he was 18 or 19, right? And he had one of his best years at 25. He's still got room to grow. He's got 5 more years to hit his peak, or in his peak. I think this is a wonderful deal for LA. Right? We talked about it yesterday. Anybody that was here yesterday when I had Scott on, we talked about how the Pacific is going to be a lot stronger this year, and this is one of the reasons. This is a good deal. And it also shows the step back that's going to happen in the Central. Minnesota just took a huge step back. It makes the Kings a playoff team for sure. No, I honestly, it strengthens them, right? I don't want to say they barely made the playoffs. I mean, they were pretty. I think that they were pretty solidly in. I want to say, didn't they get the second spot, or maybe they got the third spot? But I thought they were in pretty solidly, at least in my eyes. And I thought they just missed hitting 100 points, right? You know what, Colin? I think the Blues are going to be better next season, right? I don't see, and the Blues have room to grow. They have a lot of room to grow. Man, you guys are just bailing on me. No one wants to watch me. Oh, well, hey, that is what it is. I appreciate you that is here. Thank you, Joe Butler. I don't share it in the groups anymore. I just got to the point where it doesn't make any sense. Either you watch the show or you don't, right? I wasn't helping myself out. Right? I really was not helping myself out. And I was mentally, taking a sledgehammer and pounding it against my head. Pounding it. And that didn't do me any good. Right? That didn't do me any good. Scotty P is an interesting one. Right? I think that I think he still needs a little bit of seasoning. I think that, so where is P? He's only 23. You got 2 more years before he hits that 25 mark, right? Mikkel is 26, but because of where his contract was, we still get another year on it. Mikkel, I see signing a longer-term deal than I do Prunovich. There was an article, and I seen it today, and actually, I don't get it. So the article that I saw was from the Hockey Writers, and it was 5 guys that could be trade pieces. And of the 5, I only agreed with 1. Only with 1. Other 4, I just they didn't sit well with me. Let me see if I can find that real quick and bring it up. I look at the Blues and I say, I look at that roster and I go, wow, do you need to make a move? Do you need to make a big deal? Really? Do you need to? I don't see it. Right? I look at it and I say, no, you don't. Why would you want to do that? Wow, 3 fourth round targets. The 4th round's not that big of a deal. I like that they're putting in. So here's the 5 guys that they thought the Blues could use as trade bait. Number 1, Ivan Barbashev. I'm sorry, I'm not letting go of Barbashev. Number 2, Logan Brown. Logan Brown is an interesting one to me. He would be my maybe. Number 3, Klim Kostin. Now, Kostin is someone that I have talked about. I would let him go. I'm at the point with Kostin that I think that we've given him enough chances that he hasn't grown, right? Number 4 was Marco Scandella, and I want to get you guys guess who number 5 is. Who's number 5, right? I want you to guess who's number 5. Do we? Who is their number 5 guy? I think you'll catch it really quick. All right. Barbashev? No, I keep Barbashev. I think Barbashev showed how good he can be. Oh, wow. So I guess that's Ashley right there, but it's showing as a user. Sorry, Ash. I wish we could do more for you. Nope, not Kairu. Not Kairu. Right? I really do wish I could help you, Ash. I wish there was something I could do. I really do, my friend. I really do. And we miss you on the show, and I know what you're dealing with. So, it's not, I'm just telling you that we miss you. Guy, thoughts on it, on if we miss Sonny D versus having Letty? Hindsight's always 20/20. That's a good point. I originally, when we traded Sundqvist, I thought we were hurting the penalty kill. It ended up not hurting the penalty kill, right? There were other guys that step up. Now, Sundqvist shined in Detroit. He got some opportunity to shine in Detroit. Well, we'll get to that. I'll hold on a second on that. So the 5th player was Tarasenko. And you obviously know how I feel about that. Letty, I don't have an issue with Letty. I like Letty. I like what Letty brought to the Blues. I don't like what Letty brought to the Blues for $5 million. I think that you can bring what he brought for less money. Now, the Blues only paid him 2.5. If he thinks that, he's okay not getting 5 and would stay here for 3 or 3.5, I'd be willing to keep him. Because I think you can get what Letty brought to the Blues for $3.5 million. Let me look at something here real quick. Let's look at unrestricted free agents, defensemen. Right? Let me bring up UFAs. Now, I'm bringing up our UFAs by, let's see, I want fenceman. Fence. Free agents, order by descending, cap hit. Yep. Okay, so let me figure out how to search this now. Update results. Here we go. So if we're looking in the, let's look in the 3.5 million range, right? Zadorov from Calgary, Butcher from Buffalo, Miller from Buffalo, Ben Sherratt at Florida, right? 3.5 million. He's a UFA. That no trade clause or no movement clause, no trade clause, whatever that was, it doesn't exist anymore. He's 31. I could see a couple of years with him. I can't read this. I got to blow it up so I can read it a little better. Where was the other guy I was looking at? The Florida, Ben Sherratt. They had one more on here. Nutriveria, right? 28. He's in the in the range of what we can afford. There's some guys on here. Ruda is available. 31. I mean, okay, they're a little older, but you look at what Letty was. I don't see any super young guys that are available, but I see some guys that can come in and fill the position that Letty did. Right? Letty, looking at defensemen by salary, Letty's fifth or fourth. Right? Let me go back a little bit so I can see salaries. Right? Letty's at $5 million. Or no, Letty was at cap hit was 5.5. His salary was 7, but we pay cap hit. I see for me right now, I see some guys that are available that can fill Letty's spot for cheaper. Right? I really do. Yeah, no, I'm not with trading Vladdy. I don't think you should. Let's assume Tarasenko comes back after contract expires. Let's say O'Reilly leaves. Does he get the captain? I would have to think so. I really do. I think as a leader, he is extremely matured. Right? He is absolutely extremely matured as a leader. More than I would have ever expected. Right? Right, more than I would have ever expected. He went above and beyond as a leader, right? And I'm impressed by that. I'm impressed by what he did. I'm impressed by this season. I had high hopes, and he went right past them, and maybe I got a Vladdy love affair. That's fine. I'm not gonna discount that, but for me, I just saw Tarasenko become one of the stars of the league. I mean, a superstar in the league in my eyes. Here's the thing, though, our forecheck lost something, not having Sunquist. And that is something to be thought about, right? And not only did our forecheck lose something, and it's something that we have to work with our goalies on being better with the puck, right? When we lost Bennington, his puck control was so good that it had affected our entire game when he wasn't there. That is something that whoever we put there has to that's got to be an area of work, right? Puck handling. You've got to be able to get back there, see the ice, and move that puck up. Make those passes, make those decisions that get the puck where it needs to be when it needs to be, right? We also be stronger on our board play. Yep, I agree. However, you improve that. Too many little battles lost. Yeah, 50-50 pucks. I agree. We need to be better on 50-50 pucks. This was an interesting season for Berube, right? Berube got forced, and that's just not a backhanded comment, okay? And I know I've said before it was, but it's not. Berube got forced to make decisions that he was uncomfortable with, and they turned out well. That's important. Nah, I don't think so. He's too young. I don't think not for me, Colin. Not for me, my friend. Yeah, I can't see that, bud. Yeah, I don't. Right? I really don't. I want my captain to be a guy that's been on the team for a while and that's shown leadership ability. Right? And if you remember, I'll tell you what, the moment that changed this team. I want to know, I'll ask you guys. Last year, to me, I always look for a moment in the season that defines the season. There was a moment last season that I felt defined this season. I want to know what your moment is. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. What was your defining moment? I know what mine is. I want to know what yours is. All right. I have a defining moment. And to me, and to give you an idea of what what a defining moment is, in 2019, a lot of people point to um called out. Oh, I'm nailed. Um yes, that was am I wrong, Bob? Am I wrong? Right? You're gonna call me out and go, "Well, you got that love affair with Tank, ho, 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 ho. And we know you hate Baruti, ho, 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 ho." But am I wrong? Am I wrong that that was not a defining moment for this season? I'm asking. Am I wrong? Yes, I know you're on about an 8-second delay. All four of you, right? I'm just happy that four people are watching. I'm surprised I'm not talking by myself. Waiting on Bob. Waiting on Bob. Waiting on Bob. We're waiting on Bob. The Vladdy Hattie against Buffalo. Nah. You have your plan. You have your defining moment long before the playoffs, right? Oh well, I know, Bob. I'm making a joke, my friend. I'm making a joke. Hey, Shackled, how are you, my friend? Or Shackled or Shackled? I don't know. One of the two. Hard for me to see sometimes. Hey, I think I said it later. Joe Butler, thank you for that thumbs up on Facebook. Might be the only one watching me on Facebook, but I appreciate it, my friend. Um, no, so to me, I mean the Buffalo. I'm not sure with the Buffalo one, to be honest with you, bud. I'm not sure when that happened. No, to me the Hattie in Buffalo. I mean that. Uh, I don't know how much Buffalo. Yeah, I don't think you have a defining moment against Buffalo. To be honest with you, right? Yeah, that's a tough one for me. I don't think it's against Buffalo. I'm trying to look for something here. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Oh, CJ Baskets is here. Hey, CJ. How are you doing, my friend? How are you? Um, where we got here? Well, no problem, Shackle. I appreciate you watching anywhere you watch, my friend. Anywhere you watch. I really do. Um, when we couldn't figure out our goalie situation, it was pretty defining how the season was going to go. Um, no, I think that I'm a. I don't know that we didn't figure our goalie situation out, right? If you want to know, if you want to look where our situation went wrong, it was in March, right? It was in March, in the month of March, when we needed to have an incredible month of March, and we didn't. We really didn't. We had a shitty March. Right? I forget what our record was in March, but it was our worst record of the year, and that's when you make your position. You know, 10 points behind Colorado was only 5 wins. 5 wins. That's what separated us. Everyone makes it like it's this huge space. It's 5 wins. 5 wins. I like this. Oh, Ryan, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Uh, as we're moving along the show, uh, the draft is coming up. See, Colin, that's not a true statement either. That's a surface statement. Our record against the bottom teams was the same as our record against the best teams in the league. It was our record. We didn't lose as many games against the bad teams as everybody thought we did. I remember this at one time. In fact, I have it here still written on a piece of paper, right? This was brought up, and this I don't remember when in the season, but at this point we were 17-7-4, right? 17-7-4, which was 678. And that was basically what our record was. That's what our points percentage was. Right? That's not, I'm sorry, that's not losing 7 games to bad teams. Out of that many, 17-7-4, I'll take that. I'll freaking take that. You know what, Ryan? I haven't done enough research yet to really know. I think if I'm the Blues, I look for, now they do not go best available, right? That is Jake Neighbors, a lot of people looked at him as a mid-second round guy, somebody the Blues could have picked up in the second round, yet they went for him in the first. So they're going to have somebody on their board that they're going to want at that position, right? And if they stay there, they're going to take them. I think that right now you need to look at defense. And you need a defensive defenseman, not an offensive defenseman, a defensive defenseman. Right? I think you look at power forward. I think you look at a possibly a kid that's going to college, that's going to get another year or two in college, already is not a junior, not a guy in a junior team, but has a scholarship already, has already committed to a college team. I really do think that that's the way you should go. And then you have the junior tournament coming up here, like after the draft, which is really interesting, right? I think that the Blues need to go defense here. I really do. Looking at our defense in the minor league system, I think that we are lacking there, but we're not lacking in forward or goalie, right? I think I would be heavy defense. I would look for some defensive guys. Though we do have a guy that could be a real diamond in the rough, right? We have a guy in our minor league system that I think, as a defenseman, could absolutely be a diamond in the rough. He showed some promise during the Calder finals, or during the Calder championship. He got his first goal as a pro in the Calders, and he also just. There's just something about him, and I heard his name a lot, and it just, I don't know, I remember, when did we draft him? In 2020, in the 5th round, and I remember when we drafted him, a lot of people were scratching their head because there was a couple of guys that we drafted the same way, right? But this here. This is the guy that I think is ready to take that next step, and he's super cheap, is Matt Kessel, right? I think Matt Kessel is ready to move up, and that's why I think defense is the area that you need to look at, right? Who's here? Who's still here? Anybody watching? No more comments, so maybe I'm boring the shit out of you. Guess I'm getting good at that. Guess I'm getting real good at boring you guys, huh? Where would you draft? Who would you draft? Right? What position would you draft? Right? Well, here's a good question. There are a couple of spots up high, fifth pick and higher that are open for trade. Would you package a trade and try and jump up? And if you would, what would you package in that trade? Right? Me, Danny Johnson, how you doing, bud? Welcome, man. Welcome. Nice to see you, and I appreciate you following us, Danny. I really, really do. I just, oh man, I kind of lost my place there. I know there are some guys that up, in the upper end that are like, you could, if you got a guy in the first 5 picks, he more than likely could start this season. Who would you pick? Would you make that trade if that trade's available? And what would you package for it? Now, me, I don't. I look at our team and I can't see packaging anything that jumped that high. Right? I don't. And I think that most of those picks are highly overvalued. Right? I think that those picks are way overvalued. That one of those top 5 picks, the second overall pick, the third overall pick, the fourth overall pick, the fifth overall pick, they're way too overvalued in my eyes. Right? Teams, it's like the guy that walks in the Pawn Stars with what do you call it? What's something? He walks into Pawn Stars with the. Here's a good example. I just remember watching. I remember this episode. Maybe you guys remember it. There was a guy that walked into the pawn shop, right? Yeah, I did, man. I did. I like him. I'm kind of upset though. Normally I get to go on the press conferences, but tomorrow it's a live press conference, meaning you have to be in St. Louis, so there's no Zoom, so I can't be there. But I did send him something asking about trying to do a weekly coaches show. So hopefully that we get something out of that soon. Right? That they're going to look at that, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be into the press conference tomorrow. Right? I'm actually really bummed about it. I really am, to be honest. Right? But back to what I was saying. It's like the guy that walks into the pawn shop. The guy that walked in with a 1921 bottle of Dom Perignon champagne. Okay, that's the rarest version. Right? It is by far an unopened bottle of Dom Perignon is worth 10 grand. Okay? However, this bottle was stored wrong. The cork dried out. Alcohol seeped out. Sediment got in. The wine was ruined. But that bottle was still worth $1,000. $1,000 as is, just to have the unopened bottle like that. Even though there's problems with the cork, there was all those problems, but it was still worth something. To me, the teams that have those high-end picks think they have that perfect bottle of 1921 Dom Perignon, and they don't. They have that $1,000 bottle, and that's what I look at it. And sometimes that $1,000 bottle is hard to sell, so we may not want to deal with it. Anybody get that reference, or does that make any sense to anybody other than me in my head? I don't know. Is anybody listening to me? Is anybody out there, out there? Right? Come on, where are you guys? By the way, while I get a chance, I want to say happy birthday to my wife. She turns hold on. She turns this year. It's her birthday, happy birthday to her. I really appreciate everything she does for me, and thank you. When Tampa looked as slow as they did in the finals, it's obvious to me, at least. No, the game has, you know what? You're right, Bob. The game has shifted. It's transitioned from big to speed. It absolutely has. Right? That's exactly what Colorado did. Now, Colorado won the cup. As much as I hate it, nothing I can do about it. Absolutely nothing I can do about it. They got the championship this year. Were they the better team? Debatable. Right? Honestly, debatable. Were they the heaviest? The team that she turns how old? There you go. That's how old she turns, Colin. No, it's when I looked at those, look at the list of people that were injured by the Avalanche. Look at how many guys got injured during their series with the Avalanche. That's a big list. Big list. And I guess it is what it is. It is what it is, my friends. Yeah, that's the way I felt about it. That's the way I felt about it. I know that meme group that Brian Green is in. There's a lady, I don't want to say her name, but she's the epitome of the Avs fans. She's very surface, right? Very, very surface, right? I mean, she may actually be one of those true fans that's there win or lose, but to her, Kadri is the greatest hockey player ever. Kemper's the best goalie ever, and he was so much better than Vasilevsky. Yeah, not. That they were never on, they didn't have too many men on the ice, and if they did, so did Tampa, so it didn't matter. And you know what? This is the thing that gets me, right? They keep calling Blues fans salty. Well, yeah, we're salty. We're salty because the way we see it, that series was a lot fucking closer than you think it was. A lot closer. And it turned on an injury. Anytime it turns on an injury, there's something that doesn't feel right. For saying this, I rewatched the Blues series with them, and we didn't play as well as you and I thought, in my humble opinion. Okay, well, see, let's go back to that. You're right. Did we play as well as we thought? No. But let's go back to game one. Game one, and I even wrote this. Avalanche played the perfect game against the Blues. The perfect game against the Blues. And damn near lost. They damn near lost that game. Game two, the Blues took it to them. Game three, this is where it shifts. Game three, until Bennington gets hurt, the Blues are controlling that game. And Rosen was not the reason that Bennington got hurt. Okay? Rosen was in front of Kadri. Rosen, you can see spray coming from his skates. You never see any spray coming from Kadri's skates, and he shifts his weight. That's my opinion. You're not going to change it. Right or wrong, you're not going to change it. That's how I feel. That's what I see. Now, Colin, you know what? I've gotten in enough trouble for calling people out. I'm not going to call somebody out. And I like the lady. I think she's a nice lady. I've had conversations with her. You know, I think she's wrong in this point, but you know what? It's her team. Right? I get that. I get that. So, where are we at? Oh, I kind of lost. I'm not going to do a full hour. I'm probably going to have to end the show here shortly. Let's make another point. The Avs didn't. They did steamroll their way to a cup, right? I think that they played a type of game. Well, first of all, you look at they really up until Vasilevsky and Bennington, they didn't face good goalies, right? They faced backup goalies. Close. I actually think one of the Kings teams might be the most overrated team to win a cup, right? And so was Bennington's in 19, to be honest with you. So was Bennington's in 19, but a lot of Blues fans forget that. But again, he won the games he needed to win, and he was great when after a loss, right? He was great after a loss, right? Mike Smith, everybody knew Mike Smith was not going to be able to stop Colorado, right? We hoped he was going to delay them, but we knew he wasn't going to stop them, right? And age was going to catch up with him, and it did, right? I think it's going to be so funny when Colorado just takes a big dump next season. But I'd say by the All-Star break, they'd be lucky to be if they're in a playoff position, right? I think that maybe they'll get lucky and pull some guys that are going to help out, but I don't. I agree with Nashville, but the Blues and Lightning, 2 of the 4 wins. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think the refs played a lot into it, right? Colin, you might want to go back and look at that, my friend. You might want to go looking back. I think his save percentage during 2019 playoffs was like 830 or 840. It was under 900. And his goals against was not very good either. Right? It really wasn't. In fact, let me see if I can pull it up. Let's see if I can pull it up. Might have to go to a different page here. Hold on a sec. I gotta give me a second to pull it up. This is why I wish I had what do you call it? Had a producer so I could just talk and somebody else could pull this up. I try and multitask, but I'm not great at it. Okay. So we're looking at the 2019 playoffs. Give me a moment. Da, 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 da. Jordan Bennington was 246 was his goals against, and his save percentage. Gotta click here. Bennington's save percentage, it was 914. Okay, that was respectable at 914. He was 16 and 10. He lost 10 games, won 16. Played all but a period and a half. I remember when he got pulled. I don't know how they show a shootout. Oh no, shutout. That's okay. But no, he wasn't. And that 914 was tied for ninth, right? Holtby also had a 914. So yeah, I'm not sold on Bennington being great there, right? 914 is not a great save percentage, Colin. Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see that. Right? I can definitely see that. Well, Lance, you want to come on real quick and talk about the guys that should be available in number 23 that you think the Blues should get? I sent the link in our group chat. Love to have you on, bud. Absolutely love it. The way they won against Tampa was impressive. I also think an aging Tampa was helpful too. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you there, bud. Yeah, you're right. I thought it was lower than 900, but it wasn't. I'll give you that, Colin. 914. I said 914 is respectable, right? I do believe he's gotten better. I thought in this year's playoffs he was in the what did he play in 4, 5, 6 and a quarter games, or 6 and a 10th games, a little over 6 games. His numbers were pretty decent, right? He never gave up more than 3 goals. He never gave up more. I don't think he never gave up more than 3 goals in a game while he was in. Never gave up more than 3. Right? I just think that Bennington I think is going to have. Bennington's going to have the year that we've been hoping he would have this season coming up. I think that Bennington will be in the Venza talk next season. I'm almost certain of that. Right? I'm almost certain of that. And I also think Tarasenko could get some Selke talk. Though he doesn't. Selke usually goes to centers because one of the things that they look at is faceoff percentage. But I really think that Tarasenko has really increased. I think his plus minus is going to get a lot better. And I think you're going to see some numbers, some giveaway, takeaway numbers get better from him. Right? I really do. Are you still with me, Lancer? Right? I need to know before I call it a day. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. We got time tomorrow. I don't see. I just want to make sure if he says something to me here real quick. I'm sure there's been some articles written about who the Blues. Doug Armstrong does not take the best available. He takes who they think is the best of it. I mean, like, you look at Neighbors. Neighbors was an absolute surprise to everybody, right? Neighbors was going to be available to the Blues in the second round, where they could have easily traded up or traded down to get him. And they just decided that he was on somebody else's board, and it was time. And you know what, Bob? I think he will. I really do, because you go back and you look at 2019-20, up until COVID, he did turn it on. Other than not getting the shutouts that I wish he would have, I think he had 3 that season. That's the one part of his game that I think is lacking. I think that he he does get lackadaisical and allows some goals in that he shouldn't. But I would like to see him really shut things down and pull a 2 or a 3 game shutout streak. I would really like to see him do that. I'd like to see him get that mean streak back. I really would. Well, I'm guessing Lance is not going to come on. So, guys, I'm going to call it a day. Hope to be back tomorrow. We'll talk some more. We got the draft coming up. Maybe I'll start trying doing some research. And thank you for the 8 of you that are watching. Greatly appreciate it. Tammy Pemberton, Brad Pond, Danny Johnson, Joe Butler. Thank you so much, man. Greatly appreciate you. And everyone who gives me a thumbs up on YouTube, though I can't see your name, I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys have a great, great night. And this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, saying aloha mahalo. And I can't wait to be bleeding more blue with you. Aloha.